like those meetings are long. And you read documents, thick documents, and you scrutinize and you engage with the issue and you ask these questions. But before you ask the questions, you're listening to all these people account, and half the time it's hogwash what they're saying. And then you must come and then say, why didn't you do this? You should have done this, you should have, and then hope that there will be change. Hope that there will be implementation. So it's very frustrating for young people, that space, right? And so, you're right, Thrive. So we pick it. Hopefully through that, there's a petition. Hopefully through that, there's then a bill. Hopefully through that, there's an act, the policy. There's a plan now. Then the plan must be implemented. The plan must be accompanied with a budget. And I think when it comes to our issues, gender issues, the biggest challenge is the budget. Right? How are we going to get it done if there's no funds for us to get it done? Right? How are we going to make sure that we have all the scientists who are going to respond to the fifth industrial revolution, are going to respond to all these issues we prioritize as the state if we don't invest into education by making sure that ECD is prioritized? So we're like, education is so important, but then we don't put the funds into it. It's just like, it doesn't make sense, right? We call GBV a pandemic in South Africa, but we don't put in the funds to make sure that we can address this pandemic, right? So there's the implementation, then there's our role, the monitoring and the evaluation, and I'm absolutely committed to that. I do my oversight work without fear or favor. I don't care if you come from my party or you don't. I don't care if you think I'm siding with the opposition. Well, if that's what you think, that's on you. But South Africans have elected us to hold you to account as the executive, right? So I'm going to do my job. Now the challenge is that I can only hold you to account. I don't have the powers to make it happen. And this is where I think we as young people, we as young women are highly frustrated. And this is where it becomes so important, going back to the first question around the leadership question on the continent. There are leaders who are capable. And I think, I wrote her name down, Desiree. Desiree, covered everything. I think the only thing I want to add to what Desiree said is there's a mismatch of leadership in the continent as well. So you have people who are not bad leaders, they're just leading in a space they shouldn't be leading in. Right? So if you give Nompendulo basic education because she's doing all her postgraduate studies in basic education, or maybe let's not make it that linear, right? Maybe just because she did a BSc in geography doesn't mean that she's interested. But maybe let's take the time to have a proper audit of the skills our leaders have, of the interests of our leaders, so that we can have effective leadership. Right? Like, it doesn't make sense for us to... So anyway, that's the point. Because I don't want to, because I can take, But also our leaders need to be supported. The administration in government is weak. So we have all these great policies. Activists come from the ground, raw from the ground, become ministers. That person hasn't changed. But then who's around them? Who are they saying, who are they sharing their aspirations from the ground with to go and work on? Who are the director generals, the deputy director general, the chief director, the head of what? Who are all those people? Who are they? Do they have the requisite skills to make sure that they deliver on the mandate that the political head is going to come in with? This is where our leaders need to stop with this, I don't know what you want to call it, political favoritism or whatever. There are people who are capable in various parties. Why are they not the ones who are leading? I'm going to take my party, the African National Congress. They are graduates in the African National Congress in South Africa who have masters and PhDs. Why are those people not being prioritized when we are then identifying who we want to go into office with our ministers, our MECs, our MMCs? Why are we not considering those people? Because we want to be factional? Because you want someone who's going to say, oh, you look so beautiful every day? No, we have to have people who are critical around us in order for us to make the best decisions for our people. But I also want to leave it there, right? So for me, our conversations are going to come full circle. Literally, as we've been going through the chats, I've been making, linkages. As we like to write and make the dots and all those things. But I also think, in order for us to be effective, and Stay asks her question she's very her question is loaded because I get to vent off her and say,
Sure.
dude, this is what's happening. And so, my lady in the red, you speak about support. And I think when we speak about support, not only from the perspective of how I was hearing you, was that you were actually throwing it at us a bit differently. So not only speaking about gender-based violence in the workspace and that particular safety for young people or young women in the space, but a safety to allow you to be effective as a leader in the space.
Sure.
Right? So a safe space for you to, so here comes Nompendulo with these fresh from the ground, grand ideas of how we can bring on change. But she has no space to share these ideas, no safe space to share these ideas. A safe space where when you share these ideas, there isn't but why, we're not going to take it because it comes from her. We're not going to be told by her. We're not going to be told by fees must fall here. We're not going to be told by, no. Brilliant idea. So how do we create safe spaces for us when we rise to prominence, when she is now the chairperson of the committee, and she has great ideas to bring to the table, for those ideas to also find expression, and where they can be engaged fairly. That type of safe space. When you were speaking, I thought of that. But those are the hurdles, Tay, that we face. There are solutions, and maybe we'll get to the solutions.
Sure, that's fine.
Sure.
What comes to mind is that, for instance, the issues women face in general, whether in business, at school, or wherever you are, is how we get groomed. One thing I noticed when I was having a conversation with someone, I said, I don't think that girls just don't like each other. I don't think that we are just competitive. It's in the type of games we play, even as we grow. We have beauty contests. It means that you must look better or be the best amongst all. In a soccer team, you work as a team. You must pass the ball in order for you to reach a goal. That teaches unity. How do we make sure that with the type of generation we are raising, we introduce games that are going to be different for our younger ones? They don't have to be subjected to comparing themselves to others. How do the games become empowering in nature? Helena.
Thank you for sanitizing that. Okay. All right. Before I get to your question, I think it's ultimately the point of this platform is, to bring people together, find solutions. Now, I am very biased towards solutions. I'm very biased toward pragmatism. That's why more often than not, I get into conflict with. It's not bad intention conflict. It's just. I guess, tactful conflict with politicians, but it's not personal. Because, it really isn't personal. Because, again, I'm a pragmatist. I feel like if we're coming together and if we are appointed to do things, show me what your position has yielded. Show me what you being in this position, who has it helped? Who has it employed? What tangible problems have you solved? And in the non-profit space, in the community development space where I hail from, that is all that we are measured by. What have you done? Whereas in the political space, that ought to be the case. But it's more of like, what have you said? that is kind of the narrative, but it should be, the other way around. So I think there is a radicalization that also needs to happen. And I know that that is the essence of, activism and really trying to push plans forward. But I fundamentally believe that we are serving people. We are serving essentially, a demographic that depends on our wits, our smarts, so that, they can sort of have a better, chance at things. So I think moving forward, thinking about how to be radically pragmatic in achieving some of our problems. To get back to your question about creating spaces where we can feel groomed, is it? Or
So how we go about doing things. For instance, growing up, the type of games I got exposed to are actually the ones that made me constantly compare
compete?
myself.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
So with the type of games that boys play, they are very team-based. So what I'm saying is that how do we change that?
Open up, invite them in. The kind of things that our generation is doing now, we haven't really had, people to look up to who look like us, who are doing the things that we want to do. So more often than not, there's no reference. There's no reference. Growing up, I didn't see, someone as young as honorable in parliament, so there was no reference. The people who are in parliament right now are the people who I've seen when I was 8 years old. So that speaks, at least, we can all attest, right? So there's no reference. So now that there is a reference, it is incumbent by default on you, on Honorable, on Leah, on Ms. Mutindi, on everyone who has some kind of thing that they're working towards, and you know that you are a point of reference. It is on you to open up. It is on you to sort of, make yourself a safe space so that other people or other girls aspiring to do the same thing, other guys, for example, also, aspiring to do the same thing, can also feel like, man, I can collaborate, I can play with her, I don't have to compete with her. Because what we do is, again, I think it goes back to what I think Jamie said in the previous talk about how when you reach a certain level, you close off. You are holier than thou. The pride kicks in. What can you teach me? I've made it. I'm all this. I've got the followers. You have to go and do your own work. But again, if I did it, I kind of have to sort of show you that it's possible too. And that's the only way you can level the playing field. Just bring it closer to home in the community development space, in the informal settlements where I predominantly working. There's so much work to be done, but there wasn't a lot of people like me who I guess looked like me, who were my age, who were doing the things that I wanted to do. I was frustrated with seeing children learning in shacks. And again, it goes back to what Honorable said, the administration. You go there, we have other issues. We don't have a budget for this. Or, we can't prioritize that right now. But again, I too am an activist at heart, but my activism is very pragmatic. So what do? You go and implement. Okay, you rebuild your own schools. We have one school that we've just built now in 2009, and we're on our second one. You don't waste time because the people that you are serving don't have the time to wait. They can no longer wait. Poverty is impatient, So likewise, our implementations and our policies have to meet the demand where it is, right? So in as much as we gather in these beautiful conventions and we discuss and we have dialogues, I often wonder, okay, and then? So we all leave, we take our Instagram pics, we're all nice, and then, we come together, we have another dialogue, and then, about the other dialogue, So in making sure that we have spaces where we can play, where we don't compete, but we collaborate, is to, number one, be authentic, be very vulnerable. I've noticed that perhaps as women, I think, okay, guys, I can't speak on your behalf, but as women, we're not so easy to, or we're not so quick to share, listen, I see what you're trying to do, I did the same thing, let me tell you what not to do. This is how I failed, I thrive by failure. I am failure's best friend because I learn from it. That's the only way I know how to do what to do, right? I would not have built a school that is now standing if I hadn't failed, right? And also ensuring that or understanding that the odds are always stacked against you, especially as a woman in a political space, a woman in a legal space. I'm a lawyer myself. Women in community development spaces, especially, the odds will always be stacked against you. You will always, the foundation on which you're starting is screwed. Tough. What can you do? Right? So it is incumbent on you, if you make it on the other side, open up. You don't have an Instagram account that is private, right? And I'm speaking to myself because mine is private. Such a hypocrite. But, I've realized now that, it's just, your question just made me understand that people, it's not that everyone sitting here doesn't have a problem they do not want to solve. Everyone has something burning inside of them. Everyone looks at something and like they're frustrated, or like I, for example, I have a passion for early childhood development. I do not like seeing children learning in shacks. You, for example, want to make sure that as a lawyer, people have access to their rights, etc. Everyone has something that they want to bring across, but it's just the platform. So if you have sort of cracked the code, it is only your responsibility to make sure that everyone else kind of has your blueprint, your intellectual property, because that is the only way we can have, collective development, because we are a continent with the youngest population. There doesn't make the youngest and the most educated, mind you. Youngest and most educated population. It doesn't make sense that we are still developing. It doesn't make sense that we still have more than half of our population is living in poverty. It doesn't make sense. But we're educated. But we are exposed. But we, have all of these accolades. But you look at your constituents and the people that you are supposedly supposed to be serving, there's a very embarrassing mismatch, So it is my plea to not only, the organizers of this establishment, but just everyone necessarily. If you've cracked the code, open up. That is the only way we can collaborate and level the playing field, as opposed to competing. Because ultimately, if you win, that is a blueprint for me to win. I think we're trying to solve the same problem, which is, I guess, unemployment, which is, I guess, poverty. And I think it's very ambitious and bold to attempt to say, okay, this is how we're going to solve poverty, because it is so entrenched. It is so, it spans across centuries. You can't now, with the brightest minds, come in a room and say, we're going to solve poverty. You're lying. Okay, you can address it. You can address it and bite it off as systematically and as pragmatically as possible. But it's one of those things that you can just really address or solve to the barest minimum. You can't completely eradicate it. And that is one of the realizations that I think we should come to.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Very loaded. I'm a very practical person. Extremely practical. So much so that I break down things. Yeah? And I'm just imagining someone from the rural area wanting to be empowered. And there's culture. And sometimes we undermine the power that culture has, the influence that culture has in silencing women. It is as if you're not going to keep quiet, you're not culturally mannered. And it is as if you are rebellious. There's this attachment they give to people who are outspoken, to women who are outspoken, basically. And most of the time, you'll even hear them asking you, who's going to marry you? You see? Like, who's going to marry you if you speak too much? Husbands don't like being asked, what are you doing? Where are you? And what I realized is that it's minor things that oppress women. Minor things, minor tendencies. The reason I was speaking about how we get groomed as young women, it's because it's part of culture. And now my question becomes, and to you, Thrive, how do we transform that? Like, how do we transform culture in a manner that doesn't defy culture? We still adhere to culture, but the core principles of culture are not what people have made culture to be. Because someone will oppress you and say it's culture when it's not. someone will speak back to you and say, I'm your elder. Even though they know themselves that they're actually oppressing you and they are being very abusive. How do you do it in a way that will still empower the person who's actually trying to abuse you or oppress you using culture? Like, how do you change that?
Thank you so much for that, Stay. With that, I just want to start with a little bit of a story of something that happened actually this year. So I was asked for comments on a particular tradition that we have as a Herero, of a Herero people. So we have this tradition, it's called Shiramwe, right? So in this, it meant back then that cousins would get married to one another. Ne? And the way that the culture and tradition has evolved now, back then, remember in 1904, after the genocide and so forth, Hereros was there was only 20% of Hereros left. So they needed to procreate as much as possible in order to get the population to where it was before. So these then became acceptable practices. But the way that it has evolved now, it has become almost like a ticket for your cousins to do whatever they please to you. Because essentially, you are my cousin, you know? So I have almost dibs or whatever access it is. And so I was asked for a comment by Sister Namibia, and I gave, and I was very honest and truthful about it. Also, one, as somebody who has experienced this and been sexually abused by my cousins under this guise, I was very open and very vivid about it. And people were mad. They were angry. You are uninformed. Where did you get these things from? Hereros don't abuse each other. These things don't happen in the Herero community. And I'm like, so us, we don't exist, you know? Our experiences, they're not valid because you are trying to protect the culture, so much so that you are willing to protect abuse within the culture. So I think really to be able to change abuse, and I understand and I value culture and tradition so much, but if it is perpetuating abuse, it can really just be gone with, because then it doesn't matter. And you need to understand that culture is something that people build with one another, right? It's not something that's written in sand. Culture changes, tradition changes. Even for instance, the clothes that the Ovaherero are wearing now, it comes from the Victorian age. That's not how the Ovahereros were dressed, you know? So that's how culture has changed. So disrupt it completely, no matter who it makes uncomfortable, no matter who thinks that, my goodness, we need to preserve this thing, we need to hold this thing. It doesn't matter. If other people are being abused through that same culture, it needs to be gone. It needs to be done away with. And to protect abuser and to say, okay, yes, we want to keep culture, certain elements of it, yes, perhaps those that don't oppress other people, but the ones that do stay, to hell with it.
Sure. Going back to business, what I realized is that we are all different and we are interested in different things. And what the education system sometimes tries to do is that it measures us the same way, even though we're not. And some people think that by virtue of them not being academically gifted, it's the end of the road. And you may find, I always believe that everyone is a leader and we are all entrepreneurs. And the reason why I'm saying this, it's because when I was doing economics or EMS, economics management science in primary, we used to define what an entrepreneur is. And they used to say an entrepreneur is a person who can identify a need or a want in a community and fill it. And I think as people in general, we all can do that. We can identify a need amongst our friends, identify a need in our families, in our communities, everywhere, right? So I want you to awaken the entrepreneurs in the house. Some of them might be sleeping. And the reason why I'm saying this, it's because a lot of money is not only in a career, but it's in business. My pastor normally says a salary is a curse because it controls your life. You can only spend much and do much every month. So if it's not enough, you must wait for the next month. But for us to get financial freedom, we are entrepreneurs. So to you, Mutindi, how do we start?
So I come from a line of entrepreneurs. Every single person in my family at a family gathering is going to try and sell you something. So that's where I'm coming from here. I didn't have a choice. Entrepreneurship chose me. I did not choose entrepreneurship. For me, it's very important, and I mean, I can only speak to myself, my experience. I can only tell my story. With me, I think my entrepreneurship evidenced itself from a very young age, and I'll give you an example as it relates to what I do now, which is interior design, interior styling, and working with flowers. So we moved to Namibia in 1994 from Kenya. I'm half Kenyan, half Namibian, and we'd go to this specific auntie of mine, and my mom and my aunt would be in the kitchen, drinking tea, whatever, and I'd always find a way to sneak out of the house, to go into the road and start sweeping it. So I was never satisfied with how clean or not clean the street looked like. I would always find something to do in the street, sweeping, mopping, and that's something that I basically became known for, the girl that's always sweeping the street. And it was actually my husband who reminded me about the story when we were trying to see where my entrepreneurship and my love for nice things and beautifying spaces came. And this is particularly for mothers now. When you've got a child, the destiny of your child is revealed from a very young age. Yeah. The gifts of your child are revealed at a very young age. And what is a gift? My belief is that your gift is the thing that you do the absolute best with the least amount of effort, the thing that you would do for free. So with entrepreneurship, I want to now marry the two. With entrepreneurship, I think entrepreneurship becomes easier when you focus on your gifts, when you focus on doing the thing or selling the thing that brings you the absolute joy. That's when entrepreneurship starts to make sense for me. And you just said now that everybody can be an entrepreneur. And I agree with that, because every single human being was created with a seed inside of them, was created with a gift. So if we as human beings can start tapping into those gifts, the thing that you do the absolute best with the least amount of effort, that thing that you can do without any payment, once we start tapping into that, then the selling of this service or this product will come effortlessly. And that's really what I've tried to do with my industry. So my entrepreneurship journey started a long time ago. We grew up in Vanaheda. And the kids would be walking past our house going to buy ice and sweets at a house on top there of the street. So I was like, I'm going to interrupt these people before they get to that house. So I started selling sweets and ice, went to school. Our pocket money at the time was $150 from my mom, and I liked clothes. So when I get my pocket money, I go to Mr. Price, buy something, then I don't have pocket money anymore. So that meant for me that I couldn't buy whatever I wanted to buy at the tuck shop. So I saw, okay, no, I can't be living like this. People are eating pies, people are eating cool drink. Decided I'm going to start selling at school. So I went to Windhoek High School, started selling fireballs. Because they didn't sell at the tuck shop, so there was an opportunity there, right? They don't sell this specific thing, and us, we are from the streets, we are from Katutura, we like fireballs, we like that fireball chips. I'm going to start selling that. Started selling that, and every day after school, I would go and bank $17.90 at Nedbank. I did that for, I think, 6 months. At the end of those 6 months, I think almost $4,000 that I had saved, and I took myself shopping. I was in Mr. Price, and I was thriving and living my best life. But like you said, you're always looking for an opportunity, and selling comes very easy to me. My personality type, the family that I come from, and I'm also able to, I think God has blessed me with the ability to make people aspire to a certain lifestyle and to a certain product. So I have also used that to my advantage. Again, we're going back to the gifts. Yeah, and I believe my gift is making things beautiful. I've always had the ability to transform something. I make flowers, I make them better. I go into somebody's home, I'm able to make it better, and I'm able to style it in such a way that honors their higher self. And having grown up in Katutura, middle-class family, middle-income family, I didn't always have what I wanted, but my mother taught us that you use what you have, and you can have a beautiful home wherever you are. It doesn't need to be in Ludwigsdorf, in Ausblick. So, yeah, that's really my story. That's my story on entrepreneurship, but I really want to encourage people to do the assessment of what their gifts and talents are, and then to tap into that. And then the money will come from that. And as long as you're following your gift, the money is an offshoot. Don't focus on the money aspect of it. And for a long time, you won't make money. I've been in business for 11 years now. I only made 6 figures revenue last year during COVID. That's another one. Yeah, COVID was really, some businesses thrived, and my business was one of the businesses that thrived during COVID. So that was a big blessing. But I held on for 11 years to finally make the 6-figure revenue last year. So it takes time, but just keep at it.
Powerful. I think one thing that we cannot downplay, I think, sometimes when you are in a panel, you want to be politically correct, and you try not to offend people most of the time. And sometimes you compromise even in the things you'd really like to explain. Ne? And I noticed it with Leah earlier. The role of God in business. I think for me, I'd like to know the role of God, because what they don't understand is that it's not everyone who can make money in COVID. It's rare. And sometimes people will think, hey, it means you are that good. And what they don't know is that sometimes you just hand it over to God and you take over.
Yeah.
So what's the role of God in business?
It's the only role that matters, actually. My story, if it wasn't for God, honestly, because nothing qualifies me. Nothing qualifies me. First, I'm a foreigner who came, no papers. You just come to survive. Nothing qualifies me. I attend a deliverance ministry. My pastor we were in trouble with my husband. So much trouble. There was no income, nothing. We were staying in a garage with a car. With a car. Me, I'm in front. Is that double garage? We are in front, that side. The car is at the back. The owner will just come, open the garage, start the car inside. So we will inhale that. Yeah. We were in trouble. My pastor said, Leah, I'm not going to give you money. I'm going to teach you how to make money. So I thought, he's going to give me a business plan, tell me what to sell, because I was already selling ice, I was already industrious, man, but it was just not adding up. So I was like, okay, maybe he's going to give us a start, some money to start something. He gave me prayers. I still have those prayers. He said, I will teach you to make money. He gave me prayers. That's like 7 years ago. We prayed. God provided. It got tougher and tougher. Very tough. But because we were given the source that matters, God, you kneel down and pray. He will provide. I'm a testimony. He will provide in ways no human being can understand. How, like I said, how did I get here? Because nothing qualifies you but God.
Sure.
He has the final say. So if we are going to, like I've seen with most of my clients, it's these millennials, these ones, they know when you come to Melea, things will get done. I can't give you money. You have to give money. You're my client most.
Sure.
I'll give you prayer, what I was given. We will kneel down, we will pray. They are my children. God has blessed me with children in the salon, with sisters, with friends. People call me in the middle of the night, Miss Leah, there's a problem. I don't have money, but I'll give you what I was given by my pastor. He gave me prayer. So if you're not going to pray for your business, you're not going to pray for God to show you, who am I? Why did you create me? Because everybody's created is sent here as a solution for somebody. You are somebody's answered prayer. So if you're not going to connect to the source, if you don't make it, I won't make it. Without you, I wouldn't be here. That's how it works.
Sure.
Intertwined destinies.
Sure.
We need each other. Competition, I'll go to the competition thing, is because people don't know who we are.
Sure.
I need her. I need her. I need the legal advice. I didn't go to school, I need someone who understands business, who went to school for business.
Sure.
All I know is to make money. What do you do with the money later? You chop the money, tomorrow you don't have money because you know you're going to stand in the salon. But that's not how it works. So we are each other's answered prayers.
Sure. We are each other's answered prayers. And I'm not going to take that light, because what I've been taught is that your prayer is the only thing that you will find waiting in your future. So if you pray now and intercede now, you'll find it waiting for you in the future. And earlier on, I made a joke saying that if we were in TBN, we'll be movie. I'm looking at the time, and I'll ask you, Nompendulo, a question, and then allow everyone to wrap up, and then open it to the floor this time. Earlier on, I forgot, please. I apologize. But the question I have for you is, how do we make collaborative efforts in pushing an African agenda as women? Because you see, we have Leah in business, Mutindi in business, reproductive rights, development, and all of that. And we exist in different countries. We are from SA. We are in Namibia. And what we want is to advance an African agenda that will, number one, eradicate all the issues we have. I would like to believe that we actually have the solutions. I believe that we are visionaries and solutionists at the same time. And part of coming up with solutions is to implement them and to speak out and share them, because sometimes we might think that after this is done. It's not. And what I like is that it has planted a seed in each and everyone who is in the room today. Because in whatever you're going to pursue, you're going to identify your role in society and what you should do to advance an African agenda. So with that said, please.
Hello? Okay.
Sure.
All right, thank you so much, Tim. Can I lobby you?
Yeah?
Can I lobby that, like, after I'm done, can we take it to the floor?
Sure, we can.
Okay.
Depending on the time, though, because we have a performer. So
As
we-
opposed to us having a closing, like,
Oh.
because I think that's what I heard you say, DP.
Oh, okay. Oh, you don't want closing remarks?
We'll go there, then come this way.
Okay, sure, that's fine.
Thank you, DP. You know, sometimes when you're with leadership, an entire founder of an entire organization, I think, you know, your question is answered by She Leads. This is the answer to what you just asked.
Sure.
This. Where's Lucia? She's out, stepped out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ste and Lucia and everybody else that we don't know is behind what is happening today. You are living testimony to what we. So we're launching She Leads She Leads Namibia chapter. But there's also another launch of a young women's network, Africa network, something that's happening online.
Sure.
These things launching with the emphasis on young women is something we must celebrate and be unapologetic about it. We'll get to the what do we do after the launch. We'll get there. Can we just pat ourselves on the back for launching? Ste and Lucia. When Ste came to Namibia I don't know, I'm going to say it's the first time.
Sure.
When Ste came to Namibia for the first time, I was hosting a program virtually. And I said to Ste, my theme is women on top all over the world. You guys are in Namibia. Can you do something on this thing? You know, virtual has assisted us. You don't have to go to Namibia to get Namibia in SA. So I said, Ste, can you guys do something? Tell us what you're doing there. Because what I understand about you guys going there is that you met Lucia somewhere and now you're going there and now young women in SRCs are just that's it. That's what we've been talking about. So I think what you're doing is close to what I'm going to be talking about this evening. Can you guys say something? They did a video. I'm telling you, there were ministers who were speakers, there were chairperson or president of, there were, the dignitaries.
Sure.
The highlight of that event was a 3-minute video clip of Ste, Lucia, the SRC president from UP, University of Pretoria, the SRC president from Rhodes University. 3 minutes, they were just, they actually, I don't even know, you guys were just looking so pretty. They were like, oh my God, we're here, we're together, girls rock. And then you tell me a few weeks later, if we want to count weeks, we can count weeks, we can say it a few months, but comrades, it's a few weeks later. They are launching She Leads Namibia chapter. In those conversations of that virtual dialogue, the conversation was women on top all over the world. How do we, as young women across the continent, across countries, come together to champion the various issues that are common amongst us? How do you become a motive force? My biggest argument is that young women across the continent need to become familiar with each other so that when we lead in the spaces that we begin to lead in, we've already created a foundation. We're not going to wait until we are presidents of our countries. By the time we are presidents of our countries, we've been working the ground hard. We've been building schools together. I've already won from being here. I've won. Yes, I'm a member of parliament, but I really want to build a school. I will happily retire and go be a principal because I want to differ with you about the output. I think I would see it quicker. What am I putting in? I'm putting this in. Here's the child. They come into the system. I work on them. I work with them, not on them. I work with the child. The child comes out. They move on. For me, that's an output. Because sometimes we sit in these spaces we sit in. I ask the questions. I ask, why didn't you do? I don't see the outcome. So I feel like with the child, maybe I'll see the outcome. They will know ABC. They will know 1 + 1. So for me, I've already won. Doesn't mean that someone must give you funding here today. But it means someone who has walked the journey before you can say, this is how you could go about it too. Hey, I did this, don't go this way. Let me save you some time, right? You don't have to go about it this way. So we're already winning by being here. Tomorrow, when members of parliament come to Namibia and they need their hair done ASAP because our lives are that crazy, where you can leave your country not having done your hair because you had 3 meetings on that day, I know who to call up to make sure that their hair can be done. So our wins, in terms of, someone spoke about it, about like the stakeholder relations, and you spoke about it. There we go. You didn't know at the time of which you were doing what you were doing, but what returns it could have for you. You were just doing what's right. You were doing what you were meant to do. And now the returns, at a time of which you don't expect them to come back, they come back. So we might not see our returns of being in each other's space here today immediately, but at some point they will come full circle. And that's where destiny comes in. I don't think I'm the smartest young person in South Africa. I don't think I fully understand finance and appropriation bills and everything that comes with being a member of parliament. But I meant to be here right now. And it is my responsibility, noting that I'm not the best young person in South Africa, to then appreciate that and do my best. My best, the best I can give into this position I've been given. So it's Tembiso and Lucia. You guys are the only other people who have managed to do things like this so far are the oldies, our moms, right? They have the Power, there's many other African women networks. You've literally said, okay, guys, we keep saying that young woman, young woman, young woman, young woman. You've done it. Ste had a brilliant idea. Lucia said, okay, let's do this. Ste fetch someone who's an artist. This one fetch someone who can do the poster. This one fetch someone who can do the that, the this, the that, the that. That one brought some budget. That one brought through all the efforts, the investments, and what you don't do when you're trying to build is try and there must be an equal reciprocation of the investment in it. Right? So there's no greater and lesser investment. And we want to thank you as young women of this continent for starting. This is the starting point. Where do we take it from here? And at no point must you take what you've done lightly. So I'm going to leave it there because it's really emotional for me what is happening here today.
Sure.
Also because you're younger than me. You're younger than so many of us in the room. You're kids. And you've literally done such an amazing thing. So we want to thank you guys. And for me, it's the question of how do we, it means that when we go to the AU, you guys will be creating platforms where me and Patience and Emma and Esther in Zambia, because you're going to launch She Leads Zambia as well, and She Leads Kenya, and She Leads Cote d'Ivoire, and She Leads, right?
Sure.
It means by the time we come as young women who are in political leadership, and you have created this platform for us, it means when we go to the AU, when we go to the UN, when we go to SADC meetings as maybe delegates, we are able to lobby and be motive forces of one another on key critical issues. Namibia is very progressive when it comes to women issues, not so progressive when it comes to issues of the LGBTQIA community. So when we go to UN, I know as Nompendulo Guti, hey, Emma, you need to talk to your people. This one of the LGBTQ, you need to work on it. But you would have created an environment where Emma and I can become motor forces, because the gogos, the grannies, they don't understand the LGBT, right? So, it's our struggle of our generation and it's not a new struggle. There are people who came before us. They have DT in South Africa. There are many others. I can't think of them at this moment. There are many other activists of the LGBTQIA community who've come before us. We must pick on that baton and say, well, now we are in charge. I'm a deputy minister. I am a member of parliament. I have Ste and Lucia who are going to create a playing field for us to start our movement, to champion those issues, so that when the generations that come after us come, because our gogos have done it already. They championed what they needed to champion, so that at least I can even be a member of parliament, so that Emma can even at least be a deputy minister. Oh my God. Something our grandmothers our foremothers would never have thought of. So they fought their struggle. We are fighting another struggle, so that others will fight a better struggle. Thank you, comrades.
Thank you. I'm going to allow questions. So I would have liked what you proposed, but we have a cake as well that we have to cut. I'm getting excited because launching and having a cake, when people get married, it's very crucial for them to cut the cake. So it symbolizes a union. It's a covenant. So we have a cake for a covenant between SA and Namibia. Do you understand? So with that said, I'd like to take 3 questions because we have a performance after. 3 questions. Leah noted, Karabo noted. She leads. I'll give her, and then if we have time, I'll give you the time. Sure, Leah. Linia, sorry. There's a mic.
Okay, thank you. I thought I'd use my teacher voice, but it's fine. Thank you so much for this opportunity once again. I have a question. I'm not sure which one I can direct this to, but I'll just post it to the panel, and whoever answers, answers. Speaking of poverty, generational poverty, I believe highly that the reason why we do not get out of that or we do not break that cycle is mostly because of black tax. How can we, or how do you think we can break that black tax? Because most of us, even if you get employed, you still think of your family back home. And instead of you growing yourself and building your own empire, you are busy mending bridges and supporting your own family. And my last comment is just that, you know, when Lucia sent me the invite to this event, I was wondering, ugh, what is this now? And on my way here and listening to all amazing ideas and everything that was said, I thought, how can I contribute? There's a reason why I'm here. So I thought, how can I, as Linia Kapofi, contribute to She Leads Namibia? And I thought, what is my gift? What do I know that comes so naturally and so effortlessly? Well, now, I've thought about it. I sat here in deep thought, and I've come to the conclusion that I'm very receptive to language. And one of that is that I know Namibian Sign Language. And I want to empower the Namibian deaf community to become empowered so that they can have their own role models, mentors, and sponsors within their own community. So with that said, I'm going to offer myself to be an interpreter so that we include them in the conversations that we will have going forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm so tempted. In SA we say kula, meaning that grow, ne? So I'll say kula, she leads kula. You guys will say kula, right? Kula, she leads kula. Kula, she leads kula. Kula, she leads kula. Thank you very much. Off to the next question. So I'm going to give you an opportunity after all the questions are done.
Good afternoon. Sure. Do I need to stand up?
Yes, please. They must see how beautiful you look.
Greetings again. Before I can continue to ask my question, I'd love to just outline the fact that for the longest of time I didn't believe in women empowerment, and I think Ste knows. She's the first person to discipline me into learning. I'm stubborn. I never believed in women empowerment. I believed that it was a facade to some extent. And not because, oh, she's pretty, who does she think she is? It's because I would receive oh, she's light-skinned and she thinks she's better. When I get into a room and I have not even said a word, girls give you that look, right? And it sat with me, but at least I'm still young, I'm 20, so I've unlearned. And thank you to She Leads and thank you to Stay. I can boldly say that I believe in women empowerment up to today. Okay, so my question is, how do we stop using, the first adjective we use when it comes to women is strong, right? How do we stop being strong? Because I don't think it's the only thing that makes us women and powerful. Yes, it's great to be powerful, it's good to be strong, but not all the time. So my question is, how do we combat that? Okay, let's keep it short. patriarchy is a long-standing issue, right? How do we annihilate or destroy patriarchy in our spaces, in the workspace, and etc. As females. And on top of that, that patriarchy is the same patriarchy that makes us as females in the workspace to be able to listen to a Luciano when he tells me that Nompendulo is not the person you're supposed to be working with because I'm going to make you chair. So should you work with her, you're going to be in trouble. Matter of fact, you won't ever be chairperson for the next 25 years, even if it was your goal. And then I then go to Luciano, and he's a man. And not to say that men I can't see her anymore. She had made a great statement to say we need to coexist with men. They are allies. We need them to some extent. But now there's just this loophole. It's just a long-standing issue. And my question is just to say, is it feasible to fix it? Like, is it a fixable thing? Thank you.
Third question.
Afternoon.
President. Like, no, run for exec, run for SG. And I must now come and tell you that you can actually do it. But if you believe it, we can actually disrupt patriarchy together without having to waste time and convince each other. It's in small things, basically small things. Being available is such a simple thing. And what it needs, it needs you to believe in yourself that you can actually do it. And once you start doing it, you are dealing with patriarchy. Because you are, instead of that place being occupied by a man, it will be occupied by a young woman. And most of the time, I'm very cognizant and very aware in how I align with young women. Because most of the time, you can see potential, but someone can't see potential in them. And most of the time, whenever you climb, those are the people you need to take with. Even if it means that they haven't seen their gift, they themselves, but the mere presence of being in a lounge in Namibia, sitting, that will make you actually go back and be like, if they can do that, how much more can I do? So it's basically exposure. You get to expose someone to something that will actually change their lives forever. So my answer to that question is be available to lead. In small things, be proactive. Don't wait to be told what to do. Do it. And sometimes people don't know what they need until they see someone do it and be like, oh, shucks, I didn't know I need that. So just do it. I'm not sure if... Sure.
Okay. So I just want to say to you, Karabo, right? Yes. I just want to say to you that even within that experience that you've shared now about just walking into a room and other women automatically seeing you as a certain type of thing, that itself roots from patriarchy. Because even as we're little girl, like Stay has already spoken about, yes, we are told to see each other as competitors instead of allies, you know? Even when I was growing up and, you know, I'm very language savvy. So I was always taking the best prizes for the language, and there's that woman right there. We were always consistently put against one another, as in who is the best between the two. But at a point in time, we realized, but we are good together, sister. We work together. We are still able to congratulate one another and to push one another forward. And also another thing about patriarchy is that plant yourself, and not only in one area, plant yourself in different areas. This one, and I love this about this launch, this one is leading in law, this one is leading in business, this one is leading in what? We are planting ourselves, you know. We are becoming authors, we are becoming speakers, we are becoming this and that and that. We are planting ourselves so that people cannot erase us. They cannot say that we are not there because we've pushed the agenda, we've placed ourselves there, you know, and we are celebrating one another in whatever line it is.
If my friend starts a cupcake business, yay, I'm eating cupcakes only from that business. Do you understand? And that's what it means. We are planting ourselves in these spaces. We are making ourselves unforgettable. And we are making sure that we are understanding also the concept of abundance. There is enough for all of us. Even within student leadership, there's enough portfolios for me and Lucia and Doreen to all lead. It's not just one leader, one female leader. There's no such thing. We are all here. We are leading in different fraternities. And that's just the basis of it. Yeah.
I think there was a question for Helena as well.
Okay.
I just want to add to her question. She said this narrative of strong women. I just want to be honest with you, as I'm always honest with my daughter and all the young people. Don't, as a young lady or young man, because now there's a lot happening, don't put yourself in a situation where you are trapped. Let's say you have a child. You are still at university. You find yourself, you're pregnant, and you're made to keep the baby. You have given birth. There is no other way. You have to be strong. So how do you come out of that? Okay, at least that one. Don't put yourself in that situation. It's reality. We have seen how single mothers suffer. We have seen it. Sometimes you don't have a choice but to go look for a job. You leave your degree, your peers are moving. They are moving, my friend. It's not even a joke. Life is not going to wait for you. What do? You protect yourself. I tell them, Lucia, them, submission, it's a broad thing. If I give you my phone number, I've submitted to you. It has nothing to do with marriage. Marriage is the last. The moment I give you my phone number, I've submitted to you to the abuse. As a young lady, friends are raping each other, and you can't report your friend. Yeah, and then there are girls who are even friends with these people who are raping people. It's happening here in Namibia. But I always say we can avoid it since the system is not helping us. At the end of the day, the guy is out. You have to carry the baby. Even if it's abortion, you have to do it. If someone is going to die, it is you, not the guy. The guy will continue with his life. So what do we do as young women? The clubs are dangerous now. The girls' groups, even friends, are selling each other. It's so bad. And it's happening, guys. It's happening. In this window, it's happening. So don't put yourself with people because you want to be seen with this type of people. Next thing, you are raped by your friends, the people you were chilling with. Who's crying? HIV/AIDS is real. It's still there. You're going to have an unwanted baby. Your family is struggling to pay for your tuition. And you're pregnant. Like that, you have to be strong. There's no way out, Siswam. But you can avoid that completely, 100%. Be safe.
Sure. Thank you. For your question, I know you had posed it to her, right? The artist is waiting. She was supposed to perform here at 3:30, and it's 4:10 now. So in the interest of time, can you come to her after so that she can get, you see now it's networking even. So, oh, sure. So if you guys have specific questions, you can come to the panelists after the performance and everything. And then please don't leave without taking a picture with us because we have gifts for you by the She Leads banner. And we also have gifts for everyone in the house. Yay! Yay! Ah, you guys are not excited. Sure. So thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'll hand it over to the MC so that they can come perform. And then after the performance, we'll have cake, the cutting of the cake. Wow.
All right, ladies, another round of applause for our panelists, because that surely was a piece of gold. All right, so well done, ladies. And I think we can all, again, or what I'm taking away is, since the morning discussion and the afternoon discussion, is that we all have a seed. All right, so it's all about sowing the seed, taking the time to find out exactly what the seed has to offer you first before you can give it to somebody else. It takes work, and eventually you will see the harvest. All right, we all have a seed, we all have a seed. All right, like we said, there's another talented performer that's waiting for us outside, and she's ready. She's a multifaceted Namibian songstress who is absolutely talented in voice as well as performing on stage, and it is a pleasure and an honor to welcome her right now. Ladies, please put your hands together for Adora.
You know, I feel so powerful. At least for once in my life, I can be a bit taller than everybody else in the room. So it's exciting to stand here and see you guys from a top-up point of view. You see, ladies, my name is Adora. I see gentlemen, but they don't matter today. So sorry, man. It's our day today, and you know, when I got here, I was like, some of these names I even had to Google, right? I was like, huh? Who is this? Gogo. I'm like, guys, I'm not ready, nah? But I'm here anyway, and I hope we have what is this called? Indemnity form signed, because I'm about to hit the ceiling here. I'll ask my boys to join me, and the first song is called Timama, and I see some beautiful mothers in here. This song is there to honor you today, so please enjoy it with me. Let's go. Can you push it up, boss? Let's push it up. little smazan, eh? Because I just wanted to see if you guys are awake. I love that. So all the song means is, dear mama, I want to go home to you. Use with the train because I remember being a little child and the only means of transport we had was the police. Energy. I like that. You want me to continue? Well, just in case, I need to just put a disclaimer. I was booked for 2 songs. Now I'm looking at 2 songs. I mean, not 2, never. I'll someone just give you 4, just like that. So we're gonna have some. Women talk a bit in there somewhere, and then we'll do some dancing. But when I approach you, please don't shy away. Ne? The day was very long. It's time to kick off the heels so we can just break it down, yeah? All right, so the next one, we are ready for it. Let's go. So this one is called Let Me Go. For all the men who dated us for 7 years and he doesn't want to marry us, he must go. So listen to this one. Hey, hey, hey. Let me go. Hey, let me go. Hey, let me go. You want to give me children. Then you want to make me sit at home like a wedding cake for 10 years. And you don't want to marry me. Nina, me, I'm moving on. Because we only live once. And if you think well, you have it wrong, boo, because hey, the world is full of amazing men too, you know. So yeah, anyway, I'm gonna go down Mary Lane a little bit, and this one is called Sponono. If you know it, please sing it with me. Let's go.
It's Carla on the beat.
Put them aside so we can just, end the night like this, twerking. Yeah? So, ladies and gentlemen, you don't matter, ladies. Just a humble reminder. So, I just wanted to translate the song. They are catching. I don't know. I mean, the testosterone is so teeny weeny little right now in the room. But anyway, so all that the song means is, don't ever forget where you come from. don't ever forget your roots. And Sponono is a song I'm sure the generations before me used to sing, and then we came and we thought it was ours. And in the verse I say, it's my wish that you never forget where you come from. And talking about where we come from, I think as women we have such a big role to play in making this world a better place. We already are playing the role. And I was speaking to Lucy outside, and I was telling her, you know, I have so many visions and ideas. I have so many things I want to start implementing and getting done. And I think She Leads is probably the right organization to hand my ideas to, because I know they will execute it. And I'm very passionate about women, children. And there's this very one thing that's so close to my heart, and it's a vision I've had for so many years. And I hope you guys can take it and run with it. I really want to speak about mental health. So much so that people get the irk when they listen to me talk about it. Because I don't know why we think it's such a taboo, right? Just to think of how broken our society is, how messed up we are, and the broken generation we are bringing up. If we don't do something about it now, we're gonna lose it. I can guarantee you that. And there's a dream I had and a vision that I had, that I'd sit with juveniles one day, especially women. And I want to talk to them, and I want to understand, how did you get here? What can we do from the outside to support you? Because I mean, you hear so many things about rehabilitation for the men, right? You see them cleaning the yards. I mean, doing stuff outside, activities and stuff. How much of the women do we hear of who are behind bars? The younger ones, even. I mean, come on. And I really want to sit down with them one day, and I want to understand, how did we get here? How did you have to go in a shop and steal a sweet? Why? Right? And what can we do about it? I mean, now they come out of jail and they don't fit into society anymore because they are criminals, right? Juveniles, criminals, whatever. And I think with their voices, because I think they are so suppressed, you don't even know they exist, but they are there. I think they can make a really great impact by telling their stories. And if it's something we can look into, guys, She Leads, make me your ambassador. I'll be the pretty face there. And I'll go in with what I have, what I can, my voice, my talent, whatever. Let's make it happen. So, yes, bro. Mara, don't now go call me 2 o'clock in the morning. Adora, sorry man, are you sleeping? Duh, I'm sleeping. Please, Lucia, don't call me 2 o'clock, ne? Mina, I'm an entertainer. By that time, I'm probably on stage entertaining some drunk people somewhere. So let's talk Mondays to Fridays, yeah. So I'm gonna give you guys my last song. And yeah? Did you find the other one? You see this one? Second last. It's the women's thing. Keep quiet. Second last. What is last? Did you find it? Oh yeah. No. Okay. So we'll probably do. Did you find Taleni, DJ? So I was sitting outside drinking water, minding my own business. Then Lucia, being the woman she is, she came to me. I told her you must perform that. I'm like, whoa. Perform what? No, that one where you put the hands in the air. So I was actually surprised you know that. So I'm going to teach all of you the move, okay? And when that part comes, we're going to stand up and we'll do it together. Because women stand together. No matter what, we will do that. Okay, so it's very simple, all right? Are you ready to see it? Okay, so it looks like this. No. Please show them. I need to speak. Yeah, show them. You are... Oh. Okay, let's go, DJ. Kalini?
Are you sleeping, baby?
Let's do it. You know, I was always convinced I couldn't dance, ne? Until this Amapiano thing came. I was just like, yeah, I can do it, In fact, take off the shoes, baby. Okay, so we're gonna show you, okay? Here we go. No, just warm up. You just, yeah, great. I saw you in the club yesterday, yeah? Let's do it, girl. Huss. Okay, so it's simple, okay? So it goes like this. Okay, no, she has it. All right. Tell her my dance. Look like you guys are busy. And then you can, your piece. So, everyone must stand up and do it with us, okay? So get up. Take off the heels if you have to. All right, warm up. Hey, horse. Hey, horse. Hey, horse. Hey, horse. I'm ready. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, go. Hey. Now we close it off. My name is Adora. I come from the southern part of Namibia. Very dry area, but very beautiful. And stubborn people. We are very stubborn. Please, it's not a warning. It's just a friendly warning. So the last one is called Touch. And in the song, you know, I want to translate for my international guests and the people who don't understand Damaranama. So apparently I was in a club somewhere and this guy was with his girl, right? So he walks past, they walk past me and he does this to me. Wait, my just juicy stories. He does this to me. And then so I got to the bar before they got to sit down. And I sat at the bar and just as I turned to my left, they were sitting right across the room. And he was looking at me the whole time. And he was like, And you know what I did? Meet me outside. So when we met outside, I was like, listen here, ne? You are with your woman. Respect her. Even if you don't respect me, at least respect your woman. Because you can't be sitting there with your person and you're flirting with me. But anyway, this one is called Touch. Please enjoy. Let's go. Oh, and it's my last song, by the way. Can we start it again, please? Can we start it? You don't do that, bruh. Just start it nicely, mean a nice volume, because we want to dance. Yes. Yes, let's go. Hey!
right, ladies, can we give it up once again for Adora? All right, Adora, before you go, quickly come, quickly come. Can you give us all dance classes? As part of the Shein program, Namibian division.
Hierdie goed hè. This is what I was talking about. You give them the pinky, they take the whole arm. But I think it would be nice to meet you ladies again. And maybe a little fun day instead of, sitting in an official setting like this. And I think we can work out something. By all means.
Okay, before I let you go, you mentioned mental health. All right, it's all good and well. We need to take care of everybody's mental health. But how has Adora taken care of her mental health, especially being an artist during the COVID time? And obviously, we know that the industry, the entertainment industry, took a major hit. How have you taken care of your mental health?
To be honest, as a person in the public eye, you are never allowed to show your pain, your weakness. And this is very emotional for me because even while trying so hard to just cope, just on the edge, they will still go on and they'd say, Adora, you're so fat. Adora, you sing horrible. Adora, you shouldn't do this kind of music. And it's so painful because I put my heart and soul in everything I do. And I think this is why it's so personal. Thank you so much. It's so personal for me because I'm a pastor's kid. And there's this whole idea, you're a PK, everything is always all right. Where I go home, I shut the door, I cry, and I pray. Prayer is the only thing that's kept me going. And the beauty in this is you meet amazing women like this who will now and then just remind you, it's okay, just keep going, You're not failing because people don't think you're good enough, right? You're well on your way to perfection, even if none of us have ever tasted or felt perfection. And that's the beautiful thing about the journey of life. Each one has their story. And during COVID, I remember there was a time, guys, being the famous one, you can't be broke. You cannot not wear fancy clothes. And I am the most basic person you'll ever find. I don't have the fanciest sneakers in my closet, not because I can afford it, but it's not who I am. And then they have this thing that you can never be weak, you can never cry in public. And when COVID, the first wave sort of calmed down and we were allowed to engage again, I couldn't stop myself from just breaking down on stage because it's emotional. And people forget you're human. And the other day I spoke to Jessica Nkosi, she's an actress from The Queen, and I asked her, how do you do this? You're a mother, you're an actress, you're busy. My God, you're so busy. And she says, you know what? Women have the most special gift of just getting up in the morning and doing it. How we do it, we don't know. And here I am with so many opportunities awaiting me, so many amazing people in this room who I am just ready to give my heart to, because I think if tomorrow the sun doesn't get up for me, at least I've tried and I've built my legacy as humble as I could.
Like Adora, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Thank you. We love you, 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 absolutely love you. And again, probably the Holy Spirit that said, let her talk. She's got something to say. There you go, right? There you have it. And obviously alluding back to what Leah said, that what she got is, or what has kept her through everything is prayer. And I hope you have that in your life as well. So our next part, according to the program, is our cake cutting session. And we have the two chair ladies, if I may call them. Are you going to do it over there? Okay, all right. Let me give you the mic.
Let's see if you guys still remember. Kula shilits kula. Kula shilits kula. And the reason I'm saying this, it's mainly because it's such an emotional thing when everyone wants to take part. We had Linia offering to do sign language, then Adora, Haibo comrades. You know, and I know by the end of this, Mo will come and be like, okay, I will be offering this. And we appreciate that. So for now, the most symbolic act, the covenant. I'm excited for this part. And I think it would be a disservice to not allow our She Leads Namibian Division chairperson to not say anything. And she's been avoiding it. I'm doing it on the spot. Mainly because of the voice. So please forgive her for the voice. However, she's going to speak. And in that, I think she'll also do like a vote of thanks. And thank everyone who has come. And yes, over to you, Madam President.
I have no voice. Okay. So just very briefly, since I don't have a voice, I just wanted to say thank you to Stembiso, who first was just someone I actually aspired to be, because I had a very tough journey, my journey towards presidency. So when I first discovered Stembiso, I was in like a limbo. I didn't know what was happening, if I was going to win, if I was going to occupy space, if I was going to be relevant, if I was going to serve. And I remember watching her videos, and I told my friend, one day I'm going to meet this girl. And when I meet her, I'm going to be SRC president. And that was in the beginning of the year. And my congress was in May. And after that, I invited her. And it was something special, because I could talk to her about a lot of the challenges that I faced, because she was facing similar challenges as well. And I'm someone that believes in the sharing of ideas and knowledge, not only within Namibia, but across the borders, because I think that it brings strength in consolidating numbers to bring about change. So I decided to invite her. And I thought it was just going to be like a comrade, someone I just know from abroad, and you know. And then she actually became a sister. We vent to each other, we share ideas, Stembiso is like, she's really a great friend. Even myself, she believes in me. So I don't want to